Welcome to the weekly shir, the Zera Shimshon. Today is Hey Tavis, and it's Tefshin Pei Base, if I didn't forget. And I have a short Zera Shimshon today from Parshat Vayigash, that when I was in a bris this morning, this gentleman of the Rav asked, he's the Rosh Chabura from the boy who had the bris. So he came and asked the same question. He gave a different teretz, but I'm going to give the Zera Shimshon's teretz. Okay, it's a bevusta shaila. It says, Pasuk says in Bereishis Mem Vav, this is Yud in the Zera Shimshon, to those who want to know. And it's in the English version also. But Yarei Lav Yipol Atzvarov, he saw him and he fell on his neck. Rashi says, Aval Yaakov lo nafal at Savra Yosef. That was referring to Yosef and Binyamin. Okay, but here Yaakov didn't fall on Yosef's neck and cry. But lo nashaka, you didn't kiss him either. Lefi shahaya kairei eshma. He was reading Shema. Now, Maxima, everybody's asking, what do you mean reading Shema? You didn't see your kid in 22 years, and now you're reading Shema? Lama dafka kor Shema Yaakov is Shema meis hahi. Why did Dafka Yaakov read Shema at that time? He knew that Yosef was coming to him. He was warned ahead of time. And if you say, and maybe you'll say, oh, at that time it was exactly the time to read Krishma at Kavasikin, when the sun rises. Kashal Yosef lama loy karai. Why didn't Yosef say it? Okay, you could tell it's maybe he davens later. I don't know. Kings daven later, but not a teretz. Afhu be'esahi. Why didn't Yosef say Krishma at that time also? Okay. Furthermore, ve'oy kasha. And furthermore, the mipshat hakas of nira Yaakov roas Yosef. First of all, Yaakov did see Yosef coming. Umediksiv vayari love, since he saw him. Mashmash Yaakov roas. He saw him. The lav hachi. You don't say that. Lo yasi shaper haloshin shel vayari lav. It doesn't make any sense. That what do you mean? What does the pasuk have to tell us that he saw him? The im came al korcha loimer. We got to say that by force. That shemiyad Yaakov roa isay, and immediately when Yaakov saw Yosef, he began to say Shema. Now, what did he do that for? It's out of place. It's a wonder. The Gaon Leimer Yaakov Nasa Einav Yivra Isai Be'amsa Krishma. You can't say that Yaakov picked up his eyes in the middle of Krishma and he saw he saw Yosef coming. Shahari Soida Krishma is to who Misagiru the Ayanin. You've got to close your eyes when you say Krishma. That's what everybody does. You put their hand over their eyes, whatever. So that doesn't work either. So Yuvan Bamasha Kasfu Hamikubolim. Look in the Zayar Parshas Pinchas. Dafrish Lamed Vav Amid Beis Sheshoma Sheshma and Echad Hem Ois Esmach. If you put Shema together with Echad, that it makes the letters Esmach. I will be happy. And the Dalid Rabasi, and everybody knows if they've seen it in the Sefer Torah. There's a big ayin and a big Dalid. The same thing with the mezuzah and the tefillin. It's a big. They make it a little larger than regular size. That makes it's an aid. It spells ad or aid. Okay, that's Reimez le'abra imais. It's a Dalid is hinting to the four mothers, four mothers. The ayin is Rabasi the Sham Shema, and the big ayin of Shema is Reimez le'gimel avos. Avram is Chesed, and ayin Yisharim shel Chesed. There's 70 gateways of Chesed, right? And Yitzchak is Din, and the Ayin, and in the Sanhedrin, the Shivim people, the 70 elders in the Sanhedrin, Behem Soy, the Ayin Zikanim, that's the 70 old elders. Yaakov is Ayin Nefesh. And Yaakov is also Ayin, because it's a Nefesh Yoitze Yerecha. There were 70 souls that came out of Yaakov's loins. Ad Kanashanya. That's the end of the Zayar. Ad Isa Shah. Until that time, Yaakov's Leroy Yaakov Shivim nefesh kulam b'yachad. He didn't see all of the 70 descendants together. At that time when Yosef came to Yaakov, all the Shratim came together, and they were all there, all the kids. And then when he saw him, he began to read Shema in order to fulfill the completion and the unification shemutar alav be'ayin shel Shema, with the ayin of the Shema. Now there's a really geschmack little piece that I'm a favorite of because it's talking about a cipher. Okay, the Segula. The following letter was written by a cipher from Bnei Brak who experienced a personal Yeshua and made sure to let us know all about it. I am including it right here after the previous word on Kriyas Shema because this is a mezuzah story. Mezuzahs, as everyone knows, contain Kriyas Shema, promising us the protection of the Rebbeinu Shalom. So this is a letter to Rabbi Yamin Pashkas and Rabbi Yisrael Zilberberg. My name is Shlomo Chaim Greenberg, false name, okay? I live in Bnei Brak, where I've worked as a sefer for many years. Baruch Hashem, I've been relatively successful in my chosen field, and I have a good reputation, which allows me to sell large quantities of my work. Suddenly, however, things changed, and I found myself, to my dismay, that the brokers weren't coming to me any longer. In fact, things got so bad that I found myself with a large box of mezuzahs, which I wasn't able to move. To be honest, I have to admit that I was being contacted by a number of brokers, but I wasn't prepared to sell my work to them because they were offering such a low price that I would have to be selling my work at a loss. I therefore held out, but my parnasa was suffering greatly. One day, a good friend of mine, Rabbi Fishel Berkowitz, advised me to begin learning the Sefer Zera Shimshon on a regular basis. It didn't take much to convince me, and I followed his advice. I started to learn from the Sefer every day. 2 weeks passed before I picked up my phone and called Reb Fishel. I'll never forget how excited I was to be able to make that call. Fishel, I said to him, listen to what happened to me. He could hear from my voice that something amazing had happened. I took your advice, began learning Zera Shimshon. I told him after a week I received a phone call from an important mezuzah broker. Shlomo Chaim, he said to me, I need to make a large purchase from you. How many do you need? He asked. As many as you have in stock. Knowing how things worked, and that big brokers seldom want to pay a fair price, I decided not even to get into the negotiations with him. I don't have what you need. Reb Shlomo Chaim, he's replied, don't be like that. It's an emergency and you need a lot of schira. I appreciate that you're you're in a bind right now, I said, but you are not going to want to pay my price, and I can't afford to give you schar at a loss. I need the mezuzahs immediately, he prayed, and I'm willing to pay full price for them, no discount. The broker purchased every single mezuzah that I had in stock, which meant that I went from being penniless to feeling at peace with my financial situation for the first time in many months. To be honest, it was difficult for me to believe my own eyes. Such a large business deal had never come my way in all my years of working as a sefer. It was clear to me that this happened to me in the merit of learning the Sefer Zera Shimshon. From that day on, I never began writing until I learned a specific number from the Chidushin, from the Zera Shimshon. I also davened to Hashem and asked Hashem to help me to be matzliach in the zechus of the mechaber. Okay, zechus again, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael should be our full shlema for Rachel Hudis and Shreina Baschana and all Shai Chayli Yisrael that we know and we don't know, those that are missing children, those that need shidduchim, and everybody have a wonderful Shabbos and enjoy every minute of the food and drink, which the Rabbi Chaim in the Sidur Shel Shabbos says everybody gets their neshama yisera and they need to enjoy their extra food on Shabbos. Enjoy. Tamil, have a good flavor, have a good taste in the food. And Einig Shabbos, Kol Tov Zaygebench.